Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. It has been about 4 months now since I have made a video, so I apologize for that. I just recently PCS'd from Okinawa to Japan, and for those of you who don't know what PCS means, it means permanent change of station. So I recently just moved from Okinawa to Japan because I got orders to 1st Medical Battalion in Camp Pendleton, California. This was a particularly stressful PCS. Normally my PCSs are just normal stress, but this one takes the cake for most stressful, and that's why I haven't really had a chance to make a video. And to be honest, I was a little uninspired and didn't have any ideas to make a video on. So I just didn't want to put out any bad videos or something that I'm not personally accountable for. So that's why I have not put any videos out. But in this video, I do want to talk to you about my PCS just so you can understand some of the stressors that can go along with having to move every 2 to 3 years. So being active duty military, you get orders every 2 to 3 years, and some people choose to homestead. Homesteading means that you stay in one particular place for a longer period of time, but you just keep orders in that same vicinity. So for example, if you are in California, in the San Diego area, you can choose to homestead by taking orders to a medical battalion. And then when you're done with those orders, you can go to the hospital in Camp Pendleton. And then you can go to a ship in California, down in San Diego, or you can go to the other naval hospital that's in San Diego. Or maybe you can choose recruiting duty or some type of instructor duty that's out here on the West Coast. So there are options as long as there are billets available in that same vicinity. I myself have never done that. I joined the military to travel, and I have done that because I just go somewhere different every single time. Although I have been stationed here before when I was a prior corpsman, before becoming a nurse corps officer. So this particular PCS was an international move. This was particularly stressful because I didn't get my household goods, so my furniture, my dishware, everything that goes in your house. I didn't get that on time. We waited probably about 2 to 3 months without having anything. And when you have kids, it makes it a little bit more difficult. So we just went to like Walmart, the 99-cent store, Target, and got some cheap dishes like plasticware. We can just keep reusing over and over until our dishes actually got here. We decided to also live on base on Camp Pendleton. So this is my first time ever living in on-base housing. Usually I get off-base housing, but I wanted to live in the San Clemente area, and they did have base housing in that area, so we chose it, and it's a beautiful location. Downside that I don't like about living in on-base housing is that I don't get BAH, and I don't get to necessarily choose which house I want. I just got to choose the neighborhood. So the housing is a little bit older than what I like. However, location wise, I love the location. I have an ocean view in my backyard, which in California, if you know the prices here, would be $1 million housing. I also love the Orange County area, and that it's closer than Oceanside to Los Angeles, where I like hanging out, and it's just more things to do in my opinion. Although San Diego is a little bit further for us, and we also love San Diego. So you pick and choose where you live. I did have some hardships coming here because I had some pay issues. One thing that can happen when you're moving from one duty station to another is pay issues. So in Okinawa, I was getting paid a certain amount of money for overseas housing allowance, and then the cost of living allowance overseas. And when it's adjusted to California, something didn't talk to something, and I wasn't getting paid the right amount of money for a couple of months. Add that to a home mortgage that I had in Virginia. It was like a lot of financial stuff going on until the Navy could back pay me my money. And then we ended up selling the home in Virginia. Bad timing, I know. Should have waited until we were settled in a new location, but we didn't. We had a good opportunity and we took it. So that going on along with moving was very stressful. Another thing that happened is we bought a car, the new Ford Bronco. We got a Wild Track when we were out in Okinawa, and we use this company called Military Autosource Program. So if you're ever stationed overseas, military has an auto-source program where you're able to pay on a car of your choice that they sell, or that the company sells, and you can get it delivered when you get back to the States at generally a better price, or paid off depending on how much you're paying on it overseas. So we got to California, and the car was supposed to be delivered, like, I don't know, it was like something like 10 days after we arrived in California, and the car was not delivered. They were saying that it was taking too long, it got misshipped to Mexico, all this crazy stuff, and we didn't end up getting the vehicle. And we could not wait. In California, it is so spread out, and essentially living where we live in San Clemente, and me having to drive about 30 minutes to work, and my husband having to drive the same amount, and having kids and getting them to school. It was a lot, and we needed a second vehicle, and that was probably the most stressful of having to PCS without having that second vehicle that was promised to us. So I was thankfully able to get all my money back that I paid for the Bronco and just purchase another vehicle. Now, I don't want to talk smack about the military auto source program. I have the exceptional good luck of not having the car delivered to me, aka bad luck. But I have friends and colleagues that have used the military auto source program and had amazing experiences with it. So it was just my experience with it that was not so great. So that added to the stress. What else? School. Okay, so for those of you who don't know, and I don't know if this is just in this area in San Clemente, but the schools don't have buses, a lot of buses. Like, it's not free. You have to pay to get your child on a school bus to go to school. So that was new for me. When I was stationed here before, I didn't have kids, so I didn't have to worry about schools and transportation, so my kids can get an education. So that's something else to think about. Like I said, I don't know if it's everywhere in California, but definitely in San Clemente, it's a thing. So PCS, innately, it is going to be stressful because you're having to move you or your entire family from one area to another. If it's an international move, just add on a little bit of stress with that. But you can always plan to make your move a little bit easier and smooth. And definitely, if you have family in the area where you're moving to, it helps tremendously. I will say that I still do want to move though. That's one thing that I love about being in the Navy is you get to pick somewhere new every couple years and try something out that's different, if you choose to do that. So I love it. I think everywhere that I've been, I get there and I fall in love with some aspect of where I'm stationed at, and I find myself thinking about setting up roots there and not moving and just living the rest of my life there. But then when it comes time to pick orders, I'm like, okay, time to go somewhere else. And then I go to that new place, set up new roots, a new home, and fall in love with another aspect of that place. So I think that's the beauty of moving. And if you're so lucky to get orders overseas and an international duty station, you really get to experience that culture. If you see my uniform, it is different than maybe the uniforms you've seen me wear previously. This is a Marine Corps uniform, so let me see if you can see. So it does not say U.S. Marines, it says U.S. Navy. So this uniform, it's called MARPATS. This is the Marine Corps uniform. So if you get stationed with a Marine unit, this is what you will wear. And I think my next video will be talking more about being stationed with a Marine unit. I know I had a couple of messages on Instagram asking for me to talk about that. So I can definitely talk about that. And yeah, that will be my next video. So if you have any comments, questions, please leave them in the comment section below. I read all the messages and I try to comment on all of them as well. So I hope you have a wonderful day, night, whatever time it is for you in the world, and I will see you soon.